Nothing says you care like crypto.
So, guys, go woke, go broke strikes again. Everyone got fired. This is actually an insane story regarding Deck 9. You know that many companies that have been pushing DEI narratives, diversity, equity, inclusion in video games are now shutting down. Ubisoft is reportedly being considered right now among shareholders, preparing to sell it. Well, another highly successful studio previously called Deck 9 has basically fired most of their staff. And here's the crazy thing about the studio. They previously released a game called Life is Strange. Life is Strange is a game that's centered around LGBTQ themes. It was a highly praised and highly regarded game that a lot of people enjoyed. Was there some woke stuff in it before? Well, yeah, I mean, they were still doing some of the rainbow stuff, but it was universally liked. It was overwhelmingly liked. People were like, okay, it's cool. This came out years ago. Then they decided to do it all over again and add more themes into it. So regarding the X-Men, and now the game is no longer it's no longer selling. The games are no longer selling because of the additional woke narrative that have been pushed into these games. Keep in mind, these were games that came out years ago, like a decade ago, and they were highly successful. But now Sweet Baby Inc. got involved, and they're all getting fired. So everyone at the studio has now lost their damn jobs. Today's video comes from Hypnotic. His channel will be linked in the description so that you can go check him out and support him. Watch it end of the video to fully understand the implications of all of these studios that went woke, going broke, and firing all of their employees rapidly, and what this means for gamers and the industry going forward, as well as society, because we're beginning to see a major turning of the tides. And now let's just go ahead and jump right into the video.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, we have ourselves some interesting news coming out to us from Deck 9 Games. If you guys don't know who Deck 9 Games is, well, quite frankly, I don't blame you. Deck 9 Games is the ones that are behind Life is Strange, for example. I'm sure you guys have heard of that video game in the past. Well, it is a company that has been known to be a little bit virtue signaling, right? Like they put out the typical LGBTQ posts. I mean, looking at them right now, their logo is literally surrounded by the rainbow flag for LGBTQ all the way to trans as well. So they are obviously a virtue signaling company, and they have abandoned a lot of the gamers that have loved their games initially. But for the most part, they know their player base. Well, apparently their player base just wasn't enough to support them any longer after they abandoned some of their initial gamers and decided to go full virtue signal. Deck 9 Games has just announced in a recent post that they're in fact firing a lot of people. Now, again, ladies and gentlemen, what these virtue signaling companies tend to do is they tend to blame the industry, right? They tend to say, oh, it's just the sign of the industry, right? It's the sign of the times. It's just the climate that we're in right now that we're affected as well. It's totally not the fact that we abandon a lot of people who say they don't want this nonsense in video games. It's totally not the fact that our client base was left behind because we chose to be ideological psychopaths. No, it's totally the fact that the gaming industry is just an industry that's being hit by random layoffs with no explanation to it whatsoever, and we're just the next ones that got hit by it. It's absolutely insane. But Deck 9 Games, again, when I saw this post, I wasn't even gonna bother. I really wasn't. I seriously wasn't even going to bother until I realized that when I looked at their Twitter page and you look and you realize that their profile picture is literally a virtue signal. And then in the same breath, they're talking about how they're firing people and losing jobs. And mind you, firing people right before Christmas. I was like, you know what? Yeah, we got to talk about this. So let's get into this article, guys, and this video. There's one thing I want to make very clear before we get into this statement made by Mark Lyons, the CEO over at Deck 9 Games. Deck 9 Games is just like other studios that virtue signal. The reason why they virtue signal is not because they give a crap, because they don't, okay? Most of them have been proven to be liars about their virtue signal, and they will immediately remove all the virtue signaling nonsense if it gives them the opportunity to make money in other countries that don't allow it. But that's besides the point. You guys got to understand that they also do it in order to protect themselves and shield themselves from what they know is eventually going to come out from this company, right? These companies have skeletons in their closet, and this is no different. So there's an article here from all the way back earlier this year in April 5th of 2024 with a headline that reads, Life is Strange Studio, Deck 9, accused of toxic workplace culture in a new report where hate speech, crunch, bullying, and abusive leadership allowed to fester. Is anybody shocked at the fact that a studio like this that virtue signals nonstop was accused of all of these things and more? I mean, it's pretty obvious that when they do this virtue signaling nonsense, it's to try to protect themselves. It's the same reason why a lot of these weirdos end up going trans, because they know if they go trans, nothing will happen to them. Nothing can happen to them. They are ultimately protected by society in every metric. You could literally come out and damn near off someone, and they'll just look at you and be like, well, you know, he's trans, it's okay, let's just bury this under the rug. How many mass events have we seen that have involved trans people that we have zero answers for, but the moment a white guy decides to do the same exact thing, suddenly we have his entire freaking documentary within 48 hours. It's ridiculous. But in this report, it says that it was a series celebrated for its diversity and inclusivity, talking about Life is Strange, and has painted a picture of a studio where toxicity, hate speech, harassment, crunch, and bullying and abusive leadership has been able to fester as a result of inaction.
Guys, if you think you've missed the boat on Bitcoin, think again. The crypto world is exploding with new opportunities. And while Bitcoin has already made its millionaires, there's still a chance for you to get in early on the next big wave. I've put together an exclusive guide on 4 altcoins that could change the game and change your financial future. These aren't just hype coins. These are real projects with groundbreaking technology and massive upside potential. This is your chance to get in before they hit the mainstream. But listen, crypto isn't just about getting rich, it's about freedom. Freedom from traditional banks, freedom from government-controlled money, and freedom to take back control of your life. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy. When you join the academy, you'll learn everything you need to know about cryptocurrency, how to buy, sell, and trade the right way, how to spot the coins that can truly take off, and how to use crypto to achieve real economic freedom. And here's the best part. When you subscribe, you'll get a free copy of my crypto blueprint. This is packed with valuable tips and strategies to help you get started, and it's yours just for joining. The link is in the description below. Don't wait around and miss another opportunity like Bitcoin. Those who act now will be the ones who win big. So if you're ready to take back control of your finances and start your journey to freedom, join Angry's Crypto Academy today. Let's make it happen.
From senior management, the lengthy report from IGN's Rebecca Valentine, based on testimony from over a dozen current and former employees across several departments at Deck 9, make a number of eye-opening allegations, many highlighting a seeming disconnect between inclusive values that have made Life is Strange such a beloved hit and those of the studio. It's almost as if they don't care. It's almost as if the virtue signal that they're trying to put out there to the public doesn't actually mean anything, right? It's almost as if that's true, because it is. So let's look at the actual statement from Deck 9 and what they had to say. So again, this is from Mark Lyons, the CEO over at Deck 9 Games. He says the following: Today, we are sad to share the news that we must say goodbye to some of our talented team members. This was an extremely difficult decision and reflects the challenging times many companies in our industry are currently facing. We are extremely grateful to every individual who has dedicated their hard work, passion, and commitment to making transformative entertainment with us. To those of you leaving the studio due to these changes, thank you for sharing your talents with us. I like how they word it as leaving the studio and not getting fired. You know what I mean? Like they're not leaving of their own decision. You are firing them, my guy. But again, it's the wording, right? The wording to try to make it seem softer than it actually is. We are proud of what we were able to accomplish together and are committed to supporting you in this transition in any way that we can. To the community, we ask for your support and understanding during this difficult time. Oh, yeah, it's so difficult. It was so difficult to abandon the gamers that might have supported you had you just listened to them and maybe not be so heavy-handed in your virtue signal to the point where you have an LGBTQ freaking profile picture on your Twitter page. I'm sure if I went down past this post, I would get in a ridiculous amount of virtue signaling from this company. So people are obviously not having it, right? We got Revan over here. We warned you. You all laughed at Get Woke, Go Broke. It actually is a statement of fact at this point. You got Raven Rainfall saying Go Woke, Get Fucked. We even got John Eb Trent, Get Woke, Go Broke. We got Bander Hub says, well, just take a look at your profile picture and you will start to see why those talented devs had to be laid off. Virtue over safety of your staff. You should be ashamed. And again, this is probably the most telling thing out of everything is that the fact that you're making this statement about laying off people and then you are purposely being divisive in the industry, it goes to show that you really don't care. You don't care about the virtue signal. You don't care about the people that work with you. You don't care about actually making sure their jobs are safe for the long haul. You don't care about any of that.
So I can comfortably say that the woke mind virus is on full display here. Now, this company was actually quite successful, like I said. Over the last 10 years, it actually did well. The first game that came out on the PlayStation 4 for Life is Strange it was always directed towards an LGBTQ audience. However, no one really cared. They were basically staying in their lane. What changed later on is how they began to develop the game. So before the characters were actually cute, it looked like, cute girls that were getting into relationships with each other and talking to each other and blah, blah, blah. No one cared. All right. It was basically a game specifically for this audience. And there were people who were hetero who evidently also played the game and enjoyed the game. It wasn't designed in such a way that it had a gross out element to it or anything like that. The more recent games, however, have changed substantially. The character designs have changed. So gone are characters that look like, normal everyday people, and in comes characters that have those, giant chins. So the square jaw, the square jaw and the masculine features, and then the cosplayers. So, if you get what I'm referring to, the X-Men. Now these people come in and we're all supposed to act like this is normal. So basically the people who enjoyed these titles are being pushed out of their space. It's what a lot of people who are also, GAY, in the channel, because I have gay guys who watch the channel who've reached out to me and said, yeah, Angry, this ain't it, bro. This ain't it. These games are not an audience for me. I'm gay and this is not for me. All right. This game is not for me. So what's very intriguing about this whole modern audience right now is that the modern audience that they are focusing on, it's not women, because we know that women, when surveyed, want games that have beautiful women and beautiful men, physically strong men and so forth. So these are the kind of characters that they want in games. They basically want the same kind of games that men want. No, that's basically what women want. Women want the same kind of games that men want. So the audience for the modern audience is not women, it's not men, and this is where things get absolutely shocking, the audience is also not lesbian, or is it gay? This is crazy. So it's not the L's, it's not the G's. I would even go as far as saying that it's not even the B's. The modern audience are the T's, the Q's, the X, the Y's, and the Z's. So it's everyone that comes after. It's basically everyone that comes after the L, the G's, and the B's. And I would even go as far as saying everyone that comes after the L's and the G's. So the L's and the G's had their space infiltrated by the B's, and then after the B's got in, the T's were like, well, if the B's could get in, then so can we. And after the T's got in, then the Q's were like, well, we're not L or we're not G, we're not B, we're not LGBT, but we want to be in here. So we're just going to call ourselves Q's and we're whatever we say we are. Let me ask you something. When the banks collapse, and trust me, it's coming, will you be ready? Imagine waking up to ATMs that don't work, bank doors chained shut, and millions of people left with nothing. No cash, no access to their savings, and no way to survive. But it doesn't have to be that way for you. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy to teach you everything you need to know about crypto so you can protect yourself and your family. You'll learn how to buy, sell, and even day trade crypto for a living. Plus, we alert you to new crypto trends so you can profit before everyone else even knows what's happening. Right now, I've just published an exclusive investment guide inside the Academy, and it's linked in the description below. In it, I reveal the one coin that could make you a millionaire. A coin so revolutionary, it could change everything. If you missed out on Bitcoin and Ethereum, this is your second chance. This isn't just about financial freedom, it's about survival. When the system collapses and everyone else is selling, you'll be the one buying, prepared to weather the storm and thrive while others struggle to survive. Don't wait. This knowledge isn't optional, it's critical. The link's in the description. Go check it out now. And then after the Qs got in, that was pretty much the beginning of the end, because then pretty much anyone could come in and say that, well, I'm not a Q, but I'm whatever I say I am, and whatever I say I am has to go. And if you don't like it, then I'm going to cancel you. And that's basically where we're at right now. So the modern audience, let's just be very clear, is not the traditional LGBTQ community. It's divorced from what the LGBTQ community used to represent. It's something different now. The modern audience is actually the ESG score. It's basically the investment firms. It's the investment firms that are working in alignment with Sweet Baby Inc. It's BlackRock. It's Vanguard. It's State Street. They are the modern audience. The modern audience is the ESG score. So the environmental, social score that they put out. Basically, that's what they're all fighting for. They're fighting for investment money. Their main audience is no longer gamers. They're not making games for us. They're making games for the investors to make the investors happy. And then the investor, because they're basically trying to push a narrative, push an agenda. And basically, now these games are filled to the brim with, dialogue that is very negative towards men. It's very disrespectful towards men. It's destroying the identity of women. It's basically compromising the identity of women by basically saying that a woman is whatever we say it. A woman is whatever we define a woman as. So a woman is whoever identifies as a woman. Womanhood is shared, and anyone can be a woman as long as they identify. That's basically how womanhood works now. And it's a very interesting thing. And again, I'm not making a direct expression on it, but that's basically where we're at. And we're seeing the consequences right now of all of this, is people are basically saying, yeah, this is a load of total baloney. These games are terrible. These games are ugly. These games are not properly developed. A lot of the developers that knew how to make games, they were basically pushed out, and now they were fired. They left the studios years ago, and they were replaced by these modern audience people, basically that fall into that social narrative and these political alignment with toxic positivity. And they're the ones making these games. They don't know how to make games, so the games are ugly. These people cannot make games even on the same level that people were making games in the 1990s. So the physics in these games, the character designs, they can't even get the legs right, the movement of the way the characters run in the games and so forth. So games that were coming out for PlayStation 1 in the 1990s have better physics, better character movements, even better facial animations, which is ridiculous. Better facial animations than the games that these people are putting out, which illustrates they don't know what the heck they are doing. They are not capable of making these games. That is it's an insane reality, and that's the reality that we are now living in, guys. Like, this is the worst timeline. Like, I refuse to believe, you cannot convince me anything otherwise, that we are not living in the absolute worst timeline right now. What do you guys think about all of this? So pretty much all of these people at the company, all of the developers, all of the woke developers, they lost their jobs. Most of the people working at the company lost their jobs. This studio is on its way to complete closure, and it's one of many companies that has now closed down because they went woke and now they're going broke. Like I said, Ubisoft is on their way to be sold. We're hearing a lot of chattering right now that Ubisoft, the investors are getting together, the shareholders are getting together and discussing sales of the company, because the company is in absolutely horrible condition. And if the company is not sold quickly, then the investors they will potentially lose all of their money. Like, they cannot allow the share price to fall any more than it already has. Because if they do, then they're basically going to lose all of their money. So those who've stuck around, those who are still in at Ubisoft, those who are still involved in Ubisoft, they still have shares. They're like, yeah, we need to sell this sinking ship as quickly as possible, and then get the heck out of Dodge before this thing falls well under $1 billion, because the stock price they went from being a company worth almost like $15 billion to a company worth less than $1.5 billion. All right, so they've lost roughly 80 to 90% of their value in just a few years, in like 2 years, like 2-3 years. They've lost 80 to 90% of their value, and they're still sinking. The company is in a complete free for all. They're desperate for cash right now, and one thing seems very clear, and that is that the investment companies are not coming to bail them out. BlackRock is not rushing in to bail them out. Vanguard is not rushing to bail them out. State Street is not rushing to bail them out. And this is a company that has the woke mind virus, so they don't know what to do. I mean, even the lead developer for Assassin's Creed Shadows, which is a woke piece of trash, has said that the game is garbage and they don't know what the hell they're doing. Like, the game is like, he basically said he doesn't know what to do, because they all have the woke mind virus. They're putting out this garbage, and he thought that people were just going to accept it. And now they're basically like, yeah, I guess we're just basically screwed. And they've lost billions and billions of dollars. They cannot afford to keep this going. I'm just telling you guys right now. Like, it's going to be one collapse after another collapse after another collapse. Square Enix lost 10% of their stock price recently, and some idiot came to my comment saying that it's not significant enough for them to feel it, so it was no actual loss. You guys, these are the wokies. These are the Sims, guys. I told you, the Sims have an agenda. The Sims are agents of the state. The Sims are enemies of humanity. They don't mean us any good. They mean us chaos. They mean us destruction. They mean horrible things to the world. These are horrible human beings. They are not good people. They are terrible individuals, and they are very much responsible for a lot of the crap that's happening in society, and very much leading towards the collapse of society. These are horrible, horrible people, and now we're seeing the consequences of all of this, guys, playing out because of the terrible actions of these bums.
All you care about is to try to seem virtuous, because the company is being accused of insane things over the last couple of years. And then it says, Karen says, I wonder why, noting the profile picture again. You got TY saying you get what you deserve. Fed Up Majority says, gee, I can't imagine how this happened. And again, everybody's pointing to the profile picture, because why not? Mr. L says you went all in on ESG DEI, reap what you sow. Chris says, at this rate, there's going to be a homeless encampment full of blue-haired, non-binary X-game developers. Packer Girl says, I wonder why, with, again, a transphobia warning. There was a transphobia trigger warning in Life is Strange. That's the level of virtue signal that we're dealing with when it comes to Deck 9 games, which is insane. If you read it here, it says enable warnings before mentions of transphobia occur. No depictions of transphobia occur. If enabled, warnings would appear on the top right-hand side of the screen before the content appears, because clearly people are so damn soft that they cannot see anything that might even remotely trigger them in a video game. It's absolutely insane. So I just wanted to report on this and have a conversation going in the comments about Deck 9 games. But to be honest with you, I don't care. I don't care. I don't feel bad. These are developers that are absolutely ideological psychopaths, and they will 100% celebrate if anybody like you or me lost their jobs. So I'm not going to care if they themselves lost their jobs or, according to the CEO, left the studio.
They've left the studios to move on to better and greater things. Oh, thank you guys so much for working for us. We're so grateful, guys. These people, many of them are going to end up on SSI. A lot of these people who are losing their jobs, you think they're just going to go and find other jobs? There's a number of companies right now, for example, that are actually trolling these scumbags. All right, there's a game like Kingdom Deliverance, I think that's what it's called. Like, the developer of this game is 100% trolling them hard right now. Okay, it's insane. Like, they're pointing out the fact that, like, hey, you've pretty much lost us. Like, you lost your business. You screwed up. You absolutely screwed up, and now you guys are screwed. And they're basically mocking them. They're basically mocking the fact that yeah, they're screwed. They're screwed. They're like showing comparisons between Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, or actually no, the original, and the current one. There, what do you call that? Dragon Age: The Veilguard. They're showing the comparisons between it, like, hey, my game came out like almost 10 years ago, and Dragon Age: The Veilguard came out. Guys, if you think you've missed the boat on Bitcoin, think again. The crypto world is exploding with new opportunities. And while Bitcoin has already made its millionaires, there's still a chance for you to get in early on the next big wave. I've put together an exclusive guide on 4 altcoins that could change the game and change your financial future. These aren't just hype coins. These are real projects with groundbreaking technology and massive upside potential. This is your chance to get in before they hit the mainstream. But listen, crypto isn't just about getting rich, it's about freedom. Freedom from traditional banks, freedom from government-controlled money, and freedom to take back control of your life. That's why I created Angry's Crypto Academy. When you join the academy, you'll learn everything you need to know about cryptocurrency, how to buy, sell, and trade the right way, how to spot the coins that can truly take off, and how to use crypto to achieve real economic freedom. And here's the best part. When you subscribe, you'll get a free copy of my crypto blueprint. This is packed with valuable tips and strategies to help you get started, and it's yours just for joining. The link is in the description below. Don't wait around and miss another opportunity like Bitcoin. Those who act now will be the ones who win big. So if you're ready to take back control of your finances and start your journey to freedom, join Angry's Crypto Academy today. Let's make it happen. Came out, not even a month ago, and we're outperforming. Our game is outperforming this game, is outperforming Dragon Age: The Veilguard. And the developers of Dragon Age: The Veilguard, they're refusing to release the sales numbers. Because they won't, and they're basically trying to say that it's a miracle that the game even came out and all of this other garbage. So guys, they're not making games for consumers. All of these companies, they're making games for the investment firms. They're 100% making games for the investment firms. They are competing for investment firm money, and then they're basically turning around and blaming YouTubers, blaming the fans because they don't want to play their garbage, and then everyone loses their jobs. Like, this is the psychotic reality that we are living in right now. Like, I say this very often, like, we are in the worst timeline. We are literally in the worst timeline, but we are hands down seeing cracks right now, as there are studios who are saying, yeah, we're not a part of this agenda. We're not going to put up with it. And we're going to make fun of studios that are doing this. We're going to shame studios that are doing this. And they are cleaning up big time. Because here's the thing, they're like, Kingdom Come Deliverance, they're leaning into the so-called toxic masculinity. So all of these other companies are no longer competing for our dollars. So if you hate me because of my skin color, because of my gender, if you because of my masculinity, and you're telling me, well, don't like it, don't buy it. Yeah, I'm not going to buy it. I'm not going to buy your garbage. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go out there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to go out there, and I'm going to, instead of buying your stuff, I'm going to buy stuff from companies that actually celebrate me and appreciate me. So, Kingdom Come, they appreciate me. They appreciate people who look like me. They appreciate how I express myself. Well, you know what? I don't usually play games like this, but I buy a lot of games anyway. I've spent thousands of dollars on games this year. So guess what? I'm going to go and I'm going to buy your game just because it's affordable, looks affordable, and you don't hate me. You don't hate me for who I am. You are not demonizing me for who I am. And that's something that these companies don't seem to comprehend. Okay? They're all shut, guys. They are all closing down right now. They're all losing their freedom right now because of the stupid crap that they did. Because of what they did, they're going down. They're completely going down, and no one cares. No one cares. All right? In fact, they're celebrating. So this is what's going to happen. You're going to see all of these companies that don't go woke, that celebrate masculinity, that celebrate men, and are making games for men and women, because women don't want this garbage, this modern audience garbage either. They're going to get the lion's share of all of this. We're going to give them our money. That's it. That's absolutely it. Like I said, guys, Ubisoft, the Ubisoft buyout is looking like it's going to happen, and the CEO is practically talking about it at this point and saying, "Yeah, bro." He's basically practically begging. CEO practically begs for Assassin's Creed control. Like it's that crazy right now, because basically DEI took over the studio, and the studio is destroyed. Now here's the thing, Tencent is a Chinese company, but they're pretty messed up as well, and they would be the ones that would end up acquiring Ubisoft. You have to remember that Ubisoft is a publicly traded French company, so it would require approval to even sell it to Tencent. But even if they sold it to Tencent, the family that started Ubisoft, they may still it appears that they may still want to retain creative control of the studio. So even though they may not physically own all the shares anymore, whatever new company would be formed or whatever from Tencent, they would basically gain a substantial amount of shares, and they would still have significant influence over the way that the games are made. So it doesn't make any sense for Tencent to acquire the studio if they cannot do what they want with the IPs. And that's basically the big problem right there. These are the consequences of going woke. These are the consequences that occur when you betray your audience. All of these people have now lost their jobs. They've all lost their jobs. They're all headed for the damn unemployment line. They won't be able to feed themselves or their families. And it's all because they decided to do this garbage. And I've said this is incredible. Let these woke companies die off. They went woke. Let them go broke. Let them die. Do not try to save them. Okay? Do not try to save those who hate you. These people hate us. They do not like us. These companies despise us. So why in the world, why in Hades would we be out here trying to save them and say give them a second chance? Okay? These are traitorous companies, guys. I want Sony to go down. I don't want Sony's PlayStation to keep on surviving. I mean, I learned a damn good lesson about life when it comes to everything. Sony, they put out, I've been a Sony fan, for a very, very long time. I mean, I got my first PlayStation back in like 96, 97. And for me, it all started with Final Fantasy 7. I've been gaming well before then, but I got my first PlayStation back then. I was around 13 or 14 years old. And so this is almost 30. I'm in my 40s now. I'm 41 years old. It's been almost 30 years for me. Okay? Almost 30 years supporting Sony. Almost 30 years, going around acting like a freaking pony, talking about how amazing these specs are. And oh, blah 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 blah. And enough is and for them to go and do this crap and go woke and basically tell me that they don't like me because of my skin color or because of my ethnicity. Goodbye. All right, you are the weakest link. You're the little bro. I'm the big bro. You're not getting my money or my support anymore. I've just disowned you. That's what's going on right now. All right, they are being disowned by the players that have supported them. So companies like Sony need to die off. They don't have as much money as they want you to believe that they do. And because of their actions, guys, competition is going to come. Right now, there is evidently a Valve console in the works. There's like a lot. Valve is making all of these filings with the Steam OS for Steam OS and so forth. And it appears that Valve is 100% developing their own console. And what this does is it opens up a lot of doors. Because one thing to be very clear, guys, is that typically PC games tend to be cheaper than console games. Guys, as the economy is going downhill, you have to be able to prepare for what's coming because a lot of these, as you can see, a lot of people are going to become homeless. The financial world is transforming at light speed, and the opportunity to build life-changing wealth is vanishing fast. Bitcoin has skyrocketed past $90,000, and it's actually hit well above $100,000 at this point. Already out of reach for most people, but there's one specific cryptocurrency still poised to explode 100 times or even 1,000 times in the coming bull run. This is your chance to act before the masses catch on. With Donald Trump confirming $1 trillion US crypto investment as a national wealth reserve, you can't afford to ignore this moment. At Angry's Crypto Academy, we'll teach you everything you need to know, from buying and selling cryptocurrency anonymously to creating a decentralized bank account, even if you know nothing about crypto. We'll guide you every step of the way. The clock is ticking, and this cryptocurrency won't stay under the radar for long. Don't miss your chance. Join Angry's Crypto Academy today and uncover the one crypto that could make you rich. Click the link in the description to get started. Everyone got fired, guys. What do you think regarding all of this? Do you agree that this is a great beginning? And what it illustrates is that as more of these companies go woke and go broke, we're going to see the tides turning. Yes, many of them will continue trying to go down this road, but consumers are pushing back. They are fighting back and voting with their dollars. And what's going to eventually occur is as more of these companies go under or try to do bait and switches, they're going to lose the trust of consumers. If they try to give us like even something like, okay, well, here is like a kind of good game, but it has all of this woke garbage in it, gamers are going to begin rejecting that as well. For example, if you look at Indiana Jones and the Great Circle, to my understanding, it's actually a pretty decent game. A lot of people like it, but there are definitely some woke elements in that. And just because of those woke elements, even though graphically it looks good and it's overall a good game from what a lot of people are saying, the fact is a lot of people are also rejecting it because it has even a shred of woke garbage in it. And that's where we're heading right now, where it's like, just like tipping culture is oversaturated, woke is oversaturated. And now things that even like we're becoming hypercritical, if anything, even things that may not even be woke are going to be viewed as woke just because people are so sick and tired of having this type of stuff inserted in their, into their media. But let me know what you guys think. If you agree that this is good for all of us, because it's going to lead to a lot of these evil companies dying off and being replaced. Let me know what you think. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe. And if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWM and walking away. And cheers.